Hi, and welcome to MediaPlace, a desktop software for Mac and Windows that allows you to edit and organize your media files in a very efficient way. You can rate your files, add tags and notes, and apply filters to find what you're looking for instantly. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the software itself, talk about some of its main features, and give you some tips on how to get started. Alright, so when you first open up MediaPlace, you're prompted with the option to create your very first library. Now, a library is where MediaPlace houses all of the assets and files that you import into MediaPlace itself. And just know that you can have multiple libraries, and you can also import in an existing library if you have one. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new library, and let's just call it Will's Media. All right, and then I'll hit create. All right, and it's going to ask me where do I want to save this. So let's just go ahead and save this in this folder I've got there. And now you see it set the library location, and now you have access to start working inside of MediaPlace. All right, so the homepage in MediaPlace is built to give you quick access to all the different file types that you have. Now, whether you want to quickly import in media files or sort through different libraries that you've created, or just search through different file types that you may have, the homepage is built for you to do that. Now, what I do suggest you do is when you first get in is to install some AI plugins, right? To give you full access to everything that MediaPlace offers. So if you click on install AI plugins, you're going to see that you have the option to download several different packets for our background removal tool, our upscaler, as well as our very awesome auto tagging feature. All right, so just go ahead and click on download. And once you download these, you won't have to download them again. It'll just run in the background. All right, and now that these are done, again, you do have the option if you want to remove some of these plugins, you can go back into that AI plugin box that we're in now and just go ahead and delete, and then we'll uninstall those for you. All right, so now that we've got those done, now we can move on to the library. All right, so the library is the heartbeat of MediaPlace. So this is where you can really get your files set up to work with your workflow. All right, so let's go ahead and import in some files and get things going. So I'm going to click on the pink import box at the top there, and it's going to ask me where do I want to import in these file types from. I'll hit open there, and now you get the option of choosing a few things, right? So I can filter between the file types that I have selected here. So it'll tell me I have some MP4s, JPEGs, MP3s, and PNGs. So maybe I didn't want MP3 or PNG. I could decheck those, and then it will just only import in my selected file types, right? But I'm going to go ahead and make sure it does everything, and then click back over here. Now I can add tags manually from here, and then I can use our AI image auto tagging, which I'll show you on a little later. And then you can also have the option to turn on to import all duplicates as well, right? So I'm actually going to do that because I might have some duplicates in these files. So I'm going to go ahead and hit import. So once it's there, it's importing all the files in there. And as you can see, it's pretty quick at importing these. And so there you go. This is all the files here in the top left. You'll see all files here. They're not tagged. They're not organized yet. They're just different file types already inside of my library. All right, now in order to navigate some of these images inside of your library, on the top here, you can sort by, and you can choose file size, dimensions, rating, all the different options here to sort by to make it easier to view, right? And then here, you can have the option to select all, so we can select everything inside of there with one click, or we can say show info. So instead of just, right now it's showing the format and the rating at the top right here. So here's the format, and then here's the rating here with the stars. You can say also show if they were adjusted by AI, or you can just take away, maybe you just want to show the format. You don't want it to be too cluttered. You have those options there with the eye there. And then of course these zooms in and zooms out. So if I zoom out a little bit or zoom in, you can see you can really punch in on the images and adjust the visibility of what you're looking at, right? So depending on what you like. So there's just different ways that you can view. And of course, as we showed before, we do have the search bar that we had on the homepage, but here it's a little different. So you can search for specific file types or specific tag names. Or if I click on the drop down here, you can have it, you can take away certain things you don't want it to search for, or you can have it search for just all. And as well as the different types you can sort it down to specific tags, ratings, dimensions, shapes, sizes, durations. So there's a lot of possibilities built in the library page for sorting through all the files that you may have within MediaPlace. All right, so now what I can do is I can create folders to make this more organized. So let's go ahead and click on the plus icon in the folder section, hit new folder, and let's call this pictures. And then I'll create another folder and we'll call this video. And then we can also create one more and we'll call it audio, right? So we've got a nice little layout here. And as you can see, once I select it on there, there's nothing in there yet, right? But if I click on all file types, you'll see that there they are. So now what I can do is I can break them down and put them into the folders that I created, right? So what I can do is I can go ahead and select maybe these first handful of JPEGs just that I can see off the top. And you can tell which files they are by looking in the top right corner. It'll tell you what that file type extension is. So if I go down, these JPEGs go all the way to about right here. So I'll then take all those and then I will drag them into my pictures folder, right? So now it's like, okay, well, I still have them here in my main all files library, but how do I sort through and kind of weed through and make it easier for me to see the rest of them, right? So what I can do is I can go and click on my files with no folders, and you can see it narrows it down even more. So now I've got some PNGs. I can select the rest of those guys and then drag those into my pictures. Now I've got some MP4s to organize, so I can then select those and then drag them into my video folder, and then click on my MP3s and drag those into my audio folder, right? So now I know that I've got no files that are not organized in a folder, right? Everything is set. I can still look at all my files as a whole if I want to, but I know that I can go to my pictures folder and everything picture related is in there, video and audio as well. And again, you can get more precise and break down these things even more, JPEGs, PNGs, MP4s, AVI, you can get real specific, but just to show you on a high level how that works. All right, so now if I click on one of these pictures, you'll see in the top right corner under info, this is where I can change the name. I've got different specifics from dimension, size, type, date created, all that information is located here. But here is where I can also rate my image, right? So you can set a rating for that file type by selecting the star rating. And then the main colors, this is really awesome because it auto detects the color palette for that image, right? So it tells me these are the colors that make up this scheme. So which is really cool because then you could share this with potential customers or with potential clients that you have and then say, hey, this is my color palette. Within this is what I'm working with in this range. So it's kind of nice that it does this for you. And then of course it tells you where this picture is stored in MediaPlace. Right now I've got it in a folder called pictures, which you have over here on the left-hand side. And then of course you can add tags, right? So this is a picture of looks like a concert, right? So I could type in concert, comma, and then, say people, right? So you can add these tags, and then that way when you search them up later, you have a reference for the different file types that you have. All right, and then of course you have at the bottom here, you can add notes. So whenever you have notes for yourself on whatever file type you are creating or messing with, you can then put that there and then have that there for later reference. All right, so now if I click on a different picture here and I go to our edit section, here's where I can make adjustments to resize, crop. I can save it as a different file type as a PNG or a WebP file. I can add different elements from text to images to different shapes like rectangles and circles. I can make different transformations. I can rotate it if I want to, make different adjustments like that. I can make adjustments to colors, so I could adjust the brightness if I need to. I could adjust the contrast. I could make some saturation tweaks or adjust the sharpness. So this is a really awesome way to kind of tweak your photos if you need to within MediaPlace. You can also add filters. So we have different options for filters in here. And then we also have the option to add backgrounds and then add area blurring. All right, we're going to get into some of the AI features here a little later, but this is the edit page inside of MediaPlace. All right, so let me go back and exit. Let's go ahead and do that. And now if I go to a different photo, just to give you some different variations here, let's click on this truck here and let's go to the compress section. Now the compress section allows you to see in real time what your compression will look like before you do it and after you do it, right? So again, you can choose the format, PNG, JPEG, or WebP, adjust the quality, and it tells you here's your original file size and here's the new file size, right? And then we can then see some before and afters, which is really awesome there. All right, so that is a quick way to compress files. You can also resize as well if you want, but you have those different options. And then if you need to, once you're done, you save it, and you can save it as new, you can overwrite it, or you can export it out outside of MediaPlace in general. All right, so now we're going to talk about the AI features built right into MediaPlace. So in the beginning of this video, we talked about installing our AI plugins from the homepage. So if you navigate to the homepage and you go to install plugins, you'll see that if you haven't already done so, here's where you can install your background removal, upscaler, and your auto tagging plugins. Now, this is a one-time install, so once it's in there, they're good. You don't have to worry about them anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and import in some media because we're going to work on the AI auto tagging feature. So let's go ahead and import in media here. And it's going to ask where do we want to import these files from. So I've got a folder already selected here and I'm going to hit open. All right, so we've already seen this box before when we import in files, but right here where it says AI image auto tagging, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. Now it gives me a message and it says that the engine has been loaded, but just know that this model uses around 3 gigs of RAM. And so after 3 minutes of activity, it automatically turns it off. So it's a little RAM intensive while it's being used, but when it's not being used, it'll auto turn it off to kind of give you those resources back. Now, if you want the option to keep it running the whole time, you can always check this on to keep it running. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is because I want to conserve on some of that RAM. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit import. And what that's going to do is as it's importing, it's auto tagging all these images for me, so I don't have to go in there and manually do this. So if I go into my library, and here are the images that it has imported for me, right? So if I come over here to this first one, you'll see that in the right-hand side under my info page, here is where it auto tagged it, right? So it's a landscape, but there's stone, it's sea, it's coast, it's water, it's rocky, wave, cliff. So anything that had to do with it auto tagged that for me, so I didn't have to go in there and do it, right? Same thing for the next one. It's got a picture of some clouds. I got nature, sky, cloud, blue. So it's very impressive that it's able to do this for me automatically. And of course, you can go in there and delete ones you don't want, add more if you need to, but got this one. So just to show you some examples of how powerful this AI auto tagging feature is inside of MediaPlace. All right, so I'm back inside my edit page on this picture of this eagle, and I want to show you the AI background removal tool. All right, so all I need to do is click on my AI remove background section here, and I'm going to click on advanced here, and it's going to go ahead and automatically remove this background for me. So see how powerful that was? It's really cool, and you can, even if I punch in there, you can see how good of a job it did on removing that background. So then from here, what I could do is I could export this out. I could call this, let's just call it Eagle BG removed. And then I can hit save here and it'll save it there to my library. Or if I want, I could drag this into a pictures folder there and then it will save there as well. So if I go to my pictures folder, we'll see that, I need to exit here. Here it is in my pictures folder there, and you can tell that it's a PNG and it gives you the file size there. So there I could export that out for something else or send that to clients or just organize it in another way that kind of goes with my workflow. All right, so that is the background removal tool. And again, to get there, you just need to click on it, go to your edit, and then here down below is your remove background. So super powerful features. All right, so there are a few more AI features built into the edit page. We have our remove objects, remove text automatically, and our expand image. These are all powerful tools that can, again, speed up your workflow process and make it just easier to work within MediaPlace. All right, so I want to talk to you about our AI upscaling feature here. All right, so within here, you have the ability to save your format as a JPEG, PNG, or a WebP file. You can adjust the quality. And then on your model, this is where you choose, depending on the photo you're trying to upscale. So right now I have a generic photo, it's a person, or do I have a digital art type of image, right? Anything with graphic related stuff. So I'm gonna choose generic photo because I'm dealing with kind of like a portrait style image. And then I can choose how much do I want to scale up this image. So right now it's scaling up to 4 times. You can go from 2 to 4 essentially. So let's go with 3. And depending on your image and how big you're gonna go, it may take a little bit of time. So just know that going in before you do it. All right, so now from here, it tells me my old resolution is 600 by 900. And when I do process this with the upscale with AI, it will go to 1800 by 2700. And then we do have this nice bar here that will allow us to see that difference. So let me hit upscale and then we'll see the difference once it processes it out. All right, so now that it's done processing, I can even punch in a little bit here so we can see the difference. And on the left side, you can see is my old resolution, and on the right side is the upscale. And you can see it does a really great job of upscaling this image to a higher resolution. So, right, and you can keep going on top of this, you keep building on top of the resolutions as large as you can go, then your files get really massive, but it is possible to do that. But just so you can see, I mean, from before to after, so if you have an image that maybe just wasn't quite as sharp as you want it to be, you can throw it in here in the upscaler, and then it'll give you some really awesome results. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is our AI image generation feature, right? And you can get to this page by navigating to the left-hand column, going to AI under images, or if you're on the home page, you can then just click on the image generation link there and it'll take you straight there. All right, so this is a really awesome feature. So up at the top, you've got, it says describe your image, right? So you can type in your prompt. So maybe I would put a, old man on a bench, right? Just to kind of keep it simple. You can tell it what to avoid. So if there's some things you don't want to include, you can put that there in text. So how many images do you want to choose? Right now, let's just choose 2. And then you can choose your resolution, right? 10 by 24, 1024 by 1024, or you can choose other resolutions as well, right? But this one is this one comes up with the best results. And then you can choose your style, right? Right now it's set to cinematic, but here's where you can choose, do you want it to be photo? Do you want it to be enhanced analog film, noir? So there's all kinds of stuff. Do you want it to be more like Disney Pixar? So let's just say I choose Disney Pixar for now, and then I hit generate image, right? So you can see at the bottom, I got the little stars going on. It's letting me know that it's going. And then I do have the magic in progress as well as the status bar, letting me know that it's processing in the background. And once it's complete, it will then show the final product, right? So now here are my AI generated, old man on a bench, right? So it's pretty cool, the little things that it can do. It's a really powerful tool. And then of course you can always go in and you can save this out and then use it for anything you want. And these are all licensed and royalty free to use once you've got them. So again, really powerful features just inside of MediaPlace to really increase that workflow. All right, so speech generation is another powerful AI feature built right into MediaPlace. So you can get here by going to the left-hand panel here under AI and go to speech, or if you're on the home screen, you can then go to speech generation. Either way works great. All right, so at the top is where you enter your script. So if you want whatever you want the AI speech to say, here's where you put it. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in some text there. And then here's where you can choose your voice, right? So if I click on change, right now you've got a whole bunch of different voices to choose from, for different ages, female, male. And so you can also sort through, right? So from here, if I already have some hearted out. So if I go in here and click on these are my favorites, right? Or if I go to just female voices, I can narrow them down from there. Or if I'm just looking for male voices, I can go from there. All right, so I'm going to go to some of my favorites here. And let me preview this.
Love is a serious mental disease.
Or
let us always meet each other with...
Everyone thinks of changing the world.
All right, so you have different ones. I'm going to go with some different ones this time. So let's go to these different males and let's go with...
As an organizer, I start from where the world is.
Let's go with Anthony's voice here. So let's select him. And then here it is automatically put in there for me. And then here's a note for the language too. So you don't need to select a language. So the system automatically is designed to adapt to the text you enter. So simply type your message and the chosen voice will adjust accordingly. So it automatically knows what language you're typing and it processes that in its own way. All right, so then let's go ahead and generate that speech and let's see how that sounds. Again, you saw the little stars there and it lets you know that it's processing. And here is where our generated speeches will be. So if I take this and play it.
MediaPlace is a great desktop app for creatives to easily collect, organize, find, edit, and create media files in an intuitive visual way.
All right, so it even, with the commas in there, it even gives it like a little beat, which is really nice. I kind of like that. And then from here is here where you can save it. So I can save it to my current folder, or I can just drag it into my audio folder there. And I can see that it lets me know it saved it, right? So again, really powerful features for our generative speech features inside of MediaPlace. All right, so now let's talk about the create section inside of MediaPlace. And you can get here by going to the left-hand panel over here, opening up the side there and going to create and going to slideshows to start off with. And here's where we can build out slideshow presentations very fast and efficiently. So if I click on add images, you can see I can just click on different assets inside of my library that I want to work with. Or if I had a specific folder of images, I could click on that folder and then access those images. I could even search the same way I can search in a library. I can narrow down my searches by the top from ratings to types to specific formats. I can go in there and do that. So once I've got my selections, I can confirm selected. And if I hit play, here is my slideshow already built out happening for me. I can put in text there, transitions happen in between. And if I pause this, you can see on the slide side, I can change the duration. I can change the effects. So I want it to be zoom in. I can change the background color, text color. I could change my text right here if I need to. The way that the text animates in, I can change the enter and the exit for those. I can apply these changes to all slides. So again, it makes it very efficient to build out these presentations. And then of course, in my settings section, this is where I can save it out into different formats. I can go all the way from vertical to square, all the way to a full 4K format, right? And then if I want to change transitions inside of this slideshow, I can click on the transition icon between each picture and then change a different one, right? So maybe I want it to drop down, and let's say I want to apply that to all slides. I can click that. And so now when it transitions between, it will then drop down in between. And you can have different transitions for each picture, but just to show you on the fly, that's how you can quickly and efficiently do stuff. All right, now if I open back up the create page and I go to backgrounds, here is where I can generate different images and backgrounds for different projects that I may have, right? So if I click here, I can change the color angle, complexity of this, the size, and then I can hit generate at the top and it'll generate all these different random images. And then I can save them or drag them to a folder and then use them for different projects that I may have for different needs, right? So again, I can choose a different pattern here, change it from waves to maybe peaks, change the position of those to be this way. And again, you can change the format to where you want a PNG or SVG, WebP, right? And then you can generate these different styles of images, right, to help you work with the stuff you're working on. Even this one's really cool because you can select different shapes, right? You can come here. Maybe I want to go with the Apple icon because I'm working on something like that. And then I can generate different types of images based off of those shapes, right? Which is really cool. All right, so again, everything in MediaPlace is built to be very organized and very streamlined to help your workflow and get your projects done. All right, so now we're going to get into the download section of MediaPlace. And so inside the download section, you can get there by going to the left-hand column again. And then under the download, we have the web browser that we're going to start with. So the web browser is a very powerful tool because you can type in a URL for any website. So if I come in here and let's type in mediaplace.io, and then it brings up that website. And on the right-hand side, on all types, it shows me all the assets for that web page that are available to me, right? So it's really cool because I'm looking for inspiration, looking to create some mood boards here. It'll allow me to drag and save these images or video clips into folders that I have. So for example, this is an SVG. So you know what, maybe I like this. I'm gonna drag this into my pictures folder there, right? So it imports it in, right? Maybe I like the way this icon, these icons look, you know, I can drag those in, save those out as well, right? And I can narrow it down up in the top right with images, or I can go to video clips, right? I can then do the same thing. I can drag those into a video folder if I wanted to, or anything SVG related will show up on the side there. And of course, if there's music associated or audio, it'll be there as well. But again, that's the all view. So that is a great way to utilize our web browser, right? So if you're looking for inspiration, you're creating like a mood board, this is a great way to go to different websites, grab different ideas, and then build them out and pitch your ideas to your partners, to your team, or even just for yourself, right? So that's a great way that MediaPlace has allowed for you to do that right here built into its own app. All right, so if I go back into our download section, I can go to free media. And free media is great because it is our stock library, right? So if you need assets to use for your projects on the fly, this is a great way to search up images. So right now I've got images selected. So if I wanted to, you know, search up people, for example, I could just type in people and it will populate different royalty-free assets for me to use for my projects, right? Same thing with video. If I click on video, I can then search for example, I could search for, go to waves, right? So then it's going to give me a bunch of video clips with different ocean sides, different waves, different things that I can use and tap into. And then from here, I can drag these to, for example, video, right? So it imports it in and then I'm good to go. All right. And then of course we can also look up GIFs if we want to as well. So that's good stuff that we could find some comedic actions there as well as some stickers, right? So again, very powerful tools built right into MediaPlace. So that's an overview of MediaPlace and how powerful it can be in helping you in your creative workflow. Be sure to check out our other tutorials that dive deeper into each section and explain how they can help you enhance your creative workflow even further. Until then, keep creating.